I'm Fanny.
And I'm Sia.
I'm Aura.
I'm Kanye.
And I'm Karabo.
So today we will be discussing closet Christians or closet Christianity, where you hide your faith because you're ashamed of what people are going to say about you, or you're not really sure what being a Christian feels like on the outside world. So I'd like to start this discussion by asking all of you guys a question. Have you guys ever felt like you were hiding in the closet because of your faith?
Oh yes.
Elaboration.
Oh yes. I remember you get to, especially on a Sunday, you already start with you have your dress on, pumps, and then you get in, it's like, hi, it's a whole facade really, but it's natural because that's how we are at church. It's even bless you, God bless you. You hear the message, it's beautiful, and then you go out, and then at the robot there's someone who's doing the most, and it's everything just goes away, whatever I learned, and it's I wasn't ashamed, but I think I was not living up to my Christianity outside of church. I'd separate the worlds of, okay, this is church, and then this is the world, and they don't clash, so I don't have to do the same thing because they don't clash.
Wow. My experience is with my family. So, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, my family, I before I couldn't say that I'm a Christian. I couldn't share with them Christianity things. Even our conversations with my cousins. It was always out of the Christianity picture, you see. And whenever I would come with my Christianity and anything, it was that thing of
Yes.
She starts
we
to
know
know
her,
Yeah.
you see. And when it's weddings and everything, they're like, okay, don't sleep with Kanye. Hey, she's gonna tell us about Jesus and everything. So it was that type of thing where okay, now when it gets to these people, I don't say anything about Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't say anything about my Christianity. I'm just there, okay, agreeing with everything and everything, just not to seem like that odd one in the family. So the hardest time has been my family, but I've been able to conquer it.
That's good.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, for me it was, obviously I never had issues with my household. Everyone at home was Christian, even though I had to first deal with okay, I'm in a Methodist church. I wasn't really vibing with the church like that. So obviously when I was younger, I really wasn't with it. I'd go to family functions and people would be singing and praying. I was like, the girl is not here, sorry, And then I got a little bit older and then started wanting to come to this church. So then I started coming to this church, and then you get saved, and now you're starting to live this life as a Christian. And when you're on fire,
Yes.
no one can tell you anything.
Yeah.
Instagram will know. Your family will know. Your friends will know. People will stop inviting you to things because they know.
They know.
And
That's
then
so good.
you start to grow up. You start to grow into who you are. You start to realize, oh, okay, this is my vibe. People like me. People this, people that. And then you try to live up to that. So that's what happened to me, right? I grew up. I started realizing, okay, this Instagram thing, I'm here for it, And then you realize, does Instagram have to know that though? And you stop posting about your religion and your Christianity less. You start talking about it less. And I think I did find myself, not that I was necessarily hiding, but I think I was definitely not voluntarily putting it out there. So, yeah, and also finding yourself in situations if you're chilling with people that you don't really know, your friends' friends, or whatever the situation is, and now people are asking you about yourself. You kind of try to put that to the side, especially when you're serving at church every Friday, every Sunday, and you're I just don't want to sound like that person, And I think that's the general way we all find ourselves in that situation. Because for sure, I think there were times where I definitely abstained from sharing that information because I didn't want to be judged, I didn't want to be looked at funny, I didn't want people to be on my case. But I think for sure now it's not that big of a deal for me. I'm kind of just it is what it is. Whether you accept it or not, but this is what I believe and this is who I am.
Come on.
But definitely went through that phase.
Yeah. It's my turn. So for me, no, it's what a lot of people relate to. It's with friends.
Yeah.
So for me, we moved, and then I made friends at the age of 10, and then we became friends for a very long time, and then I became a Christian only later. So then once I became a Christian, I was like, okay, so now I have to let go of all the naughty things that I was doing with these friends of mine, because now I know better.
Yeah.
So now I must be like, okay, so guys, yeah, I'm not gonna do this with you guys. Let's just not do this, guys. You know. And you know, when you're with your friends, sometimes you get that friends like, why are you acting all brand new now? Why are you being this person? And then you're like, oh, okay, fine. You know, I'm not okay, fine. You know what? Let's just do it.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, fine, let's just do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know what? It's fine. I don't have time for arguments now. I don't have time for this. But then it started off like that. I really was hiding that I was a Christian, because they always asked me where I was going, and I was like, no, I'm going to family friends when I'm going to church. Because it's like, bruh, if they know I'm going to church, it's like, bruh, we can't be friends with you. I legit heard them say one time, like, we can't handle people who go to church, so I'm not going to be. So I was like,
Like I can't
friends
tell
of
them.
mine.
Yeah.
Who am I going to be friends with? Am I going to chill in the house the whole day? I don't want to be with my mom the whole day. Sure. So I was like, yeah, nah, I'd rather just, you know. And I was beginning, so for me it was like, okay, I'm not fully a Christian yet. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just in the beginning stages, so I can still just transition. So as I carried on coming to church and I learned more about Christianity, I realized that, yeah, no, this has to, it has to stop.
Yeah.
So I came out to my friends. I told them, bruh, like, I'm a Christian. I believe in this, and this is not right, guys. What we're doing is not right. Like, oh, so now you're going to be telling us what to do. Like, no, listen, I'm just sharing what I feel.
Yeah.
So if you're going to take it that way, it's not my problem, because I'm saying it this way. So you see, but then they decided that they didn't want to be friends with me. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to cry for y'all. I'm fine. I have friends at church now, so it's chill. So I was like, yeah, but after that, it was really deep. I told them straight up, like, you know what, you can decide not to be friends with me, but I'm always going to be here for you if you need help.
That's good.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If you need me, if you need my help, I got you, it's fine. I'm not going to shun you now because, you know, you're not believing in what I believe in or whatever. So when I pass them by the street, I say, oh, hi, friend, how are you? Showcase, bye. You know, it's not like we're not talking, we're not, So now I'm just like, it's not even bad in the house anyway. But I don't chill in the house, it's fine. I found proper friends.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
With me personally, I grew up like same as like what Fanny said. Like the church we went to was not my vibe.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Like
Just like this.
it was like just like it was like every time I had to wake up, I would pretend I was sick.
Yeah.
I would cry, like
Yeah.
anything just to get to not go to church. You know, I was like, I don't want to go to church. Like, I don't want to go to church. And then, you know, I went to a school. Oh no, wait! I went to a school that we did Bible study and things like that, but it wasn't a Christian school. Like we had other religions there as well.
Yeah.
But the friends I was with were actually very Christian. Okay. And funny enough, I never felt weird around them, and I also never wanted their lifestyle. I was just like, okay, do your thing, you know, like, you know. And I came to a point where, especially when I started becoming really close with Sia, and I realized that, okay, this Christianity thing seems like a vibe.
Yeah.
And then I was like, let me try it out.
Yeah.
So then I wanted to get saved at my church, but then I couldn't because I was not comfortable, you know, because they were like, you know, they did it every week, and you know, and they were like, okay, if you want to accept Jesus, come to the front, and I was like, nope.
I am not doing that.
I'm not gonna go all the way from here and go there, and then you're gonna touch me, and
like please
No.
stress it enough.
like, guys,
That's like commute.
you don't understand. Like,
I was like, no, God, you know, I'm not
I'm
gonna
not gonna go there, because the thing is, you get there and they're like, you're like, no. So I didn't get saved there, and then I started coming to this church, to United, and then I started like I was like really like, ooh, like this is great, you know, this is actually really great, and then I got saved, and then when I got saved, I was like, okay, now I'm a Christian. Now I have to be bold. Like, for example, Stia and them, like, they're doing the most. People know that this girl's a Christian. You're not going to do anything about it. And I was like, oh, like, I don't know. A simple thing, like, my parents would ask me, what did you talk about? And I was like, things, like, like, I just didn't have the comfort to talk about God. Like, I just didn't feel comfortable. Like, it's not that I didn't know. Like, it's not... I don't know. It was like I wanted to, but then it was like in my mind I was like, why? And then I got saved so many times because of that. Because it felt like I was getting saved for no reason. Yeah. So I had to come to a point where I was like, okay, you know what? Alright, you need to take this seriously for your own good. Because I knew how good God was. Yeah. But I was so ashamed. Like, I was so embarrassed. I was so shy about it. I was like, I couldn't. I just couldn't. And then God sent people into my life that pushed me, CS Dad, Bible studies, her, coming to church, people talking to you about God. And I was always like, And then, eventually get to a point where you're like, okay, let me actually try and read this Bible. What is so great about this book? Yeah. And you finding it out.
Yeah, man.
For me, with reading the Bible, because it was really not a struggle for me. And I think this is perfect because I'd read my Bible and then I'd go in the transport and then all I know is like this was a huge battle for me. And I remember I'd go in transport remembering that you're going to war. So I'd read my Bible in a way of not like what are you gonna say to me, God, but I'm reading this with the point of like, okay, so if someone says this, I'ma say this. To like fire back. Because what happened with me with my Christianity, because I'm so outspoken, I love Jesus, and that's just how it is. It was never a point of being ashamed. It was a point of, it was a constant battle with everyone I came across, because Libras like really have a tendency of like fixing everyone, so it's like if you don't know God, I'm like, okay, what's up, Jesus, like it's let me tell you, and then it got so draining. And it was such a battle because I would approach my lifestyle of Christianity in the transport anyway as like defending God. So that led me to not talk about him at all then. Being a closet Christian, because it's like every single time I'd walk in the transport, I'd be like, like, don't talk about God like that. Don't talk about God like that. Like, he parted the Red Sea, but they're like, there's water here, water there. Do you know it's 50 kilometers? Do you know how long that's gonna they're coming with all these fights, and I was like, never mind then. For the sake of not arguing, I think people also do not talk about being a Christian for the sake of not arguing. And it really took a lot of advice and prayer that, number one, we're not defending God. Number two, it's just really a matter of like breaking it down. What are you saying? Let me process it. Let me not, always like want to fight. So that really had me being in the closet, actually. Yeah.
I think what helped me come out of the locker closet, whatever you like to call it, is that I took the time to understand what being a Christian really is.
Yes. Come on.
Yeah. Because you look around you and you already have an idea of what Christianity is based on the people you see. So you're thinking, oh no, I have to go to home cells. I have to do all this. Because I'm already a very awkward person. So I was like, if I'm going to be a Christian, that means I have to like now not pretend I'm not awkward. And I was like, can't do God. Maybe you're not for me, you know what I mean? So I think what helped me is understanding Christianity as what it is and not what it looks like.
That's good.
So I think the biggest thing about fighting this thing of being in the closet and not being ashamed is don't try and force yourself to fit into a box that isn't there. You know what I mean? Because it's really easy to create a picture of yourself, especially when it comes to religious things, of what needs to be done or what has to be done or how it needs to be, how you need to sound, how you need to look.
Like a checklist.
Now it's like if I don't have that, then I'm not a Christian. I might as well just, do my own thing. Because the more we stay in the closet, the less people hear about God. And then what happens? Then the harvest stays plentiful. And the work is stayed. So
reaching and you don't know it.
okay, let's think about people who are closeted from their friends. So it isn't that they're not active in church. It's not that they don't speak to their pastors, they don't speak to their mentors or whatever the case is. And people who are living it up, at church, as in they're connected to God. Even at home, they read their Bibles. Like they go to their home cells or whatever the case is. Like they're as connected as one would imagine them to be. But when they go to school, they can't.
Yeah.
When they go home, they can't. So how do we tackle that? Because it isn't that the person isn't speaking to people that will guide them. They do have people that will help them if maybe they're misinterpreting something, or to help them in navigating worship and things like that. But they just don't express it outside of a controlled environment. So how do we navigate that one?
But Jesus said go. So if you're reading the Bible and you're with mentors and you're active, he said go.
So you do things. Yeah.
Then go.
Yeah.
Simple.
There's,
But hard, but simple.
I think there's only two options, according to me.
Okay.
You sit with your friends and you try and disciple them. You tell them about God. Because if you're in a place where your friends, you can't speak to your friends about God, that means they don't know God. And you're there because you're supposed to make them know about God.
Yeah.
God puts us in certain places for a purpose, But at the same time, God does not want you to hurt yourself, or He doesn't want you to turn away from Him. So if you're not getting through to them, someone else will. You need to remove yourself from that situation. Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not.
It's not easy, but sometimes it's better to be alone, because you're jeopardizing your relationship with God for a friendship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're picking people over God. You know what I mean? So if it's not your place, if God doesn't want you to sit there and help them, then what? You can't expect yourself to do something about it. It's like now you're also going against God. Now you're challenging God when He said leave. You know what I mean? So I really feel like if you can't help them, help yourself. But don't leave and then be bitter about it. Pray for them.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Then can I ask you how you navigated this? Because you actually experienced not being able to really be open about your faith at home. So I'm assuming there has been growth in that department.
There.
Yes. So how did you navigate it?
Well, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother because her faith is on another level. So I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. I started lashing out on her and telling her everything, how I feel, what I'm experiencing, you see. And she would read the word with me and everything. I would go to church with her and everything. And that's when she told me this one time, she's like, just remember that whatever you're doing, you're not doing for the other person, you're doing for you. So in some cases, mostly, you really don't have to, not to put it in a harsh way, but you really don't have to care about what other people think or what other people will say, because it's your relationship between God. They have nothing to do with that, you see. So she said that I'm putting a wall between me and God. Basically, they are the wall between me and God, between me having a relationship with God. So I should try by all means to not care, to exclude them, because it's not the time, but yeah, to exclude them, because it was drawing me away from God, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all, because I became a monster. So my grandmother told me, she was like, don't care about them. I won't. I've seen her in taxis. She'll shout. She started preaching at this other hospital.
Yes.
And I was like, grandmother, you see. So I'm she was like, you see, I don't care. I don't care as long as, whatever I'm doing glorifies God, and I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm fulfilling my purpose in this earth. So that's how I navigated it, and then I started practicing it, you see, at school. Started practicing it, and then little by little I got there, but I'm still getting there.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a long journey.
But I think the most important thing that was said, really is know what a Christian is. Because I feel introverts especially, they become closet Christians because it's like they think they have to be on stage, they have to knock on doors, they have to be on the street and be like, Jesus lives, you know, like, but like know what a Christian is. Like you can be Christian like with your entire self, you know, still being shy, but like, you know, you do know like how to love a person without hugging them or shouting, you know.
Yeah, I get you.
But
You know, there's a place for each person. I feel like there's a place for each person in the kingdom of God. Like we all have a different purpose. You know, the whole, some of us are hands, some of us are eyes, some of us are ears. We're all doing different things. Some people are doing the most. You know, some people are really, you know, what's the word, outgoing. Like you think of someone like Sia. Sia is there during worship. Who do we hear? Sia. During the sermon, who do we hear? Sia. And sometimes that can be so discouraging for you as a Christian because you're like, I want to be like her. I want, because you feel like she has this different experience with God than you do, and that might not be the case. She might not necessarily be like experiencing more of God than you just because she's louder or just because she expresses her faith differently. I feel like we also need to understand that sometimes introverts relate with introverts.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
So let's not compare. I think that's also what
Comparison's also one of
causes
them.
you to be in the closet. Like, okay, I see this person because I'm outgoing, but I get so intimidated when a person is so shy, but then they mentioning these scriptures like this, and I'm like, whoa, I'm making a noise, and I don't know how to quote that. You know what I mean? So comparison really is. Do your thing. I'm gonna say get that chick. Do your thing. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that concludes today's episode.
That was great.
We hope this was informative and that it helped you guys come out of this closet because it's hard and it's hectic.
It's hard to
Come on. So remember, tell us how you feel about this below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next